himself and stepped into the water. For a moment, it felt like their argument had disappeared. But suddenly, Jake stepped into deep mud hidden beneath the water. His foot became trapped. At first, he tried pulling himself free calmly, but the mud sucked him deeper. Soon he began sinking rapidly. "Ryan!" Jake shouted desperately. Ryan turned around and saw his friend struggling. Without thinking for even 1 second, he rushed toward him. The mud was dangerous. Ryan nearly slipped while trying to reach Jake. Still, he grabbed Jake's arm tightly. "Don't let go," Jake cried. "I won't," Ryan shouted back. Using all his strength, Ryan pulled and pulled until finally Jake came free from the mud and collapsed onto the shore, breathing heavily. Finally, Jake stood up slowly, found a sharp stone, and carved words into a large rock. "Today my best friend saved my life." Ryan looked confused. "When I hurt you, you wrote in the sand. But now you write on stone. Why?" Jake looked at his friend calmly and replied, "When someone hurts us, we should write it in sand where the winds of forgiveness can erase it away." He touched the stone gently and continued, "But when someone does something good for us, we must carve it in stone where no wind can erase it." Ryan lowered his head in shame. Tears filled his eyes. "I am sorry," he whispered. "I should never have slapped you." Jake smiled softly. Friends make mistakes. What matters is whether they learn from them. At that moment, their friendship became stronger than ever before. That evening, the two friends sat beside the oasis eating sandwiches, beef jerky, and potato chips. The next morning, they continued their journey through the desert. But something had changed between them. They spoke more kindly and listened more carefully. As they walked, Ryan noticed footprints nearby. "We are not alone," he whispered. Soon they discovered an old traveler sitting weakly beside a broken cart. The traveler looked thirsty and exhausted. Without hesitation, Jake shared water while Ryan repaired the cart while using rope and wood. The traveler thanked them warmly. "Most people in this desert think only about themselves," he said. "You two are different." Later that afternoon, a sandstorm suddenly appeared in the distance. Huge clouds of sand rushed toward them like giant waves. The sky turned orange, and the wind screamed loudly. "Run!" Jake shouted. The friends searched desperately for shelter. Sand hit their faces painfully, and visibility became worse every second. Finally, Ryan spotted a small cave hidden between rocks. They hurried inside just before the storm became violent. Inside the cave, Ryan tried making jokes to reduce fear. Both friends laughed loudly while the storm raged outside. During the storm, they talked deeply about life, dreams, mistakes, and family. Ryan admitted, "Sometimes I joke because I am afraid people will not like the real me." Jake looked surprised. "You never told me that." Ryan shrugged sadly. "Everyone thinks funny people are always happy. But sometimes they are hiding pain." Jake placed a hand on his shoulder. "You never need to hide from me." For the first time in many years, Ryan felt truly understood. The storm finally ended the next morning. The desert looked completely different because the wind had changed the shape of the dunes. When they stepped outside, Jake noticed something surprising. The words he had written in the sand after the slap had completely disappeared. Ryan stared at the smooth sand quietly. Jake smiled and said, "See, forgiveness works exactly like the desert wind." Ryan nodded slowly. "And the words on the stone? They will remain much longer," Jake answered. The two friends finally reached the town after many difficult days. The businessman was impressed that they completed the dangerous desert trip safely. He paid them generously and invited them to dinner. During dinner, Ryan accidentally spilled chili all over his own shirt. That night, the merchant asked, "How did you survive such a dangerous desert?" Jake answered, "With patience." Jake nearly choked on his food laughing. After finishing their work, the two friends prepared to return home. Before leaving the town, Ryan bought a small stone and carved words into it. Jake looked curious. "What are you writing now?" Ryan smiled and showed him the stone. It read, "Real friendship survives heat, storms, mistakes, and time." Jake felt emotional reading the message. The friends returned to their small American hometown safely, carrying not only money but also wisdom from their journey. Years later, kids in their hometown still listened carefully whenever the two friends shared the story of the desert adventure. People learned that anger can disappear like words written in sand, but kindness should remain forever like words carved in stone. The story reminded everyone that true friendship is about forgiving, helping, understanding, and supporting each other during difficult times. Moral of the story: forgive hurts like words written in sand, but remember kindness like words carved in stone. True friendship grows stronger through trust, loyalty, and forgiveness.